Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to Financial Lovemaking, where we talk about love, life, money, and everything in between. I'm here with my buddy, partner, and co-host, the Ebony Magazine Entertainment Director, Miss S. Tia Brown. How you doing today, Tia?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing really well. Now, you were telling me about this show that no one has ever heard of called Love and Hip Hop, where there's this craziness going on with the reunion. What's up with that?
Well, Love and Hip Hop is a reality show that airs on VH1. There are two branches of the franchise. One is based in New York and one is based in Atlanta. The Atlanta version just aired its reunion show, and it's just really filled with lots of drama. I think the biggest thing on people's minds is that one of their star couples, Stevie J, a producer, and Jocelyn Hernandez, who's an aspiring kind of like rapper, singer, are evidently really going through some really deep issues. Now, a lot of people are alleging that they both have a major cocaine problem, and that's the cause for their erratic and aggressive behavior. During the reunion show, they actually ended up attacking, I would say, about half of the cast physically, and they had to get dragged out and backstage, and even then they continued to attack people. So, a lot of people have been speaking up about it and voicing concern and displeasure. A little bit of backstory: Jocelyn was a prostitute and a stripper in the past. Stevie J actually met her at the strip club, and he decided to make her first his mistress, then his woman, and possibly his wife. One of the storylines for this season was that they got married, but people can't produce documentation to verify that. So we don't know how legitimate it is. A lot of people look at the show and they see Stevie and Jocelyn, I say specifically younger people, living this fabulous lifestyle where, they have fancy cars and great clothes and they're doing some traveling and, they're on top of the world. But it's really sad to see all of the things that have come from them wanting to be famous and wanting to have this certain lifestyle. One of the major things for Jocelyn was that she came from a very traumatic background. Like I said, she was a prostitute and an exotic dancer. She also spoke openly the first season about her family behaving in a manner that she felt she was abandoned. Stevie J's main backstory is that his mother actually abandoned their family, so he didn't get to grow up with his mom in the household, and that has been a very tumultuous thing for him emotionally. So you have two people who come together with these major traumas kind of shaping who they are as adults, and then their careers basically on life support before they even start their careers were non-existent at that time. Stevie J used to be a big-time producer, but that was in the 90s. Jocelyn never quite made it, and then put them together, and it just seems like tragedy ensued. So it's just a really sad thing to watch. We look at reality TV as entertainment, but we also have to take into consideration that these are people's real lives, and they're also role models for coping skills in some ways for people, right? Not us, but for some people. So there are a lot of lessons in this scenario. I'll let you talk a little bit, and then we can go to the lessons. What are you thinking, boys?
Well, when I have watched these shows, I can say that they're very entertaining, so I can understand why people watch them. I know when I start putting my eyes on the show, I can't take my eyes off. It definitely has a way of pulling you in and grabbing you. Clearly, a show like Love and Hip Hop specifically is really a blueprint for dysfunctional relationships.
Right.
Really, if you want to ruin your life, just imitate some of the characters that you see on reality TV. And what's really a little bit tragic about it is that with the emergence of reality TV, we have people who are just famous for being famous for absolutely, for almost nothing, for having, no talent other than being able to drag in the drama and put, all kinds of ridiculousness on television. And I think ultimately we know it's not healthy for the black community. It doesn't promote strong families. It doesn't promote critical thinking. It kind of promotes this sort of this very sporadic, spontaneous, highly emotionally charged, thoughtless behavior that can put you in bad situations. You see reality stars punch each other out and stuff like that on TV. And sometimes you'll see that. When I was mentoring some young girls, I saw them behaving just like the women on Basketball Wives. And when they got mad at each other, it wasn't sort of like, okay, let's work this out. Let's figure out how to resolve this peacefully. It was, bitch, I'm gonna kill you, bitch. Nah, that bitch. I mean, it was like bitch, bitch, bitch. Literally every other word was the B word. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm watching Evelyn Lozada right now. Where did these 12-year-old girls learn how to behave that way? And I really believe they learn it from school, but the kids at school learn it from reality TV. So the impact is pervasive, and I don't think it's healthy.
Oh, I actually don't blame reality TV for that type of behavior. I definitely think that some kids will watch it or some people watch it and emulate it, but I also think that the importance is to have diversity of what's on television so we can see other things and also what's going on in the home environment. And I have to say, before reality TV, I've met and been in situations that were a lot like these, like you said, Evelyn Lozada kind of drag out matches. I do think that on reality television, you're rewarded for bringing the drama. And it would be great if we just made sure that we have more diversity in terms of what we thought was good and entertaining and fun. And, there have been some shows that lack the drama, but we are also drawn to the drama. I think as parents and as adults in the community, it's important to speak to young adults about excellent problem solving skills and how to communicate effectively. And I also am a strong proponent of, if you don't like something, don't support it. Love and Hip Hop has 7 million viewers. If you feel like the show shouldn't be on, or if you feel like a Basketball Wives shouldn't be on, don't watch it. And if you feel very strongly against it, write in to the network and let them know your thoughts. So I think in terms of that, that's one of the great ways to address that.
Let me just throw this in there too. It's to me, it's sort of like, imagine if someone's selling crack on the corner in your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
You may say, well, I don't like crack, so I'm not going to support the drug dealer. But that's not going to make the drug dealer go away, right? If you know that there are vulnerable, more impressionable people in the community who are being sucked in by the drug dealer, and it's ruining your neighborhood because everybody's on crack now, sometimes you have to take more drastic measures than just saying, I'm not going to support the crack.
No, and right? I get that, and that's why I'm saying, if you feel very strongly against it, that's when you call in and say, I don't think this content should be on TV, which would be comparable in your analogy in calling the cops and advocating for them to get off your corner.
Right. So, yeah, that's a good point. You're absolutely right. Now with digging into that further though, on the point about this couple, you said Jocelyn and Stevie J.
How do you not know their names?
I know that, like, I follow the news, so I see the news about them, and I'll see little clips every now and then. But I don't really watch the show enough to see everything in detail. But I know enough to know enough. One of the things I think about Stevie J that's so interesting, and this is why I warn my daughters about picking men like this, because they can be very appealing, because he has a certain type of charisma. He's clearly intelligent. He's made a little bit of money way back in the past, back before Beyonce made her first album. He was making money. So God bless him for that. But I explained to my daughters. I said, okay, look at this man. Let's really look at his life.
Right.
He owes $1 million in child support. He ain't never gonna pay that back. He's gonna die broke. There's a good chance of that, or there's a good chance that he will never ever fulfill his financial obligations when it comes to
that.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. If he's got the drug issue, that's another expensive thing he's bringing into your life. Not just expensive financially, but expensive emotionally. I don't know if anybody knows what it's like to be in a relationship with somebody who's hooked on drugs. It's horrible. They're emotionally erratic, and then on top of that, they're eating through your bank account because last time I checked, cocaine was not cheap.
It's a hell of a drug, right?
Exactly. And once people step past that door, it's hard for them to come back. DMX talks about the first time he tried cocaine and how that literally just built the whole life that he's living today. This horrible existence that he's in. He says, "I wish I'd never tried it." So, so people have to look out for that kind of thing. So I think that overall, what you're really learning, I mean, if you want to learn from a show like VH1, I think people should, or sorry, it's not VH1, I'm sorry, Love and Hip Hop, do what I did with my late uncle. I watched his life and I said, whatever he's doing, I'm gonna do the opposite. He's teaching
Absolutely.
me exactly what not to do if I want to live a happy, fulfilled, and stable existence. Because right now, I just see Stevie J and Jocelyn. I see their lives as being a complete wreck. It's only going to get worse when they get older. When they're older and not as attractive and don't have the show anymore. It's going to be a complete mess. So I actually feel sorry for those people.
Yeah, I think there are two major things to take away from it, and I'm in agreement with what you're saying. One of the things is you have to really be careful what your potential partners say to you. One thing that really concerns me that Stevie J says to all of the women that he dates is, "You're nothing without me. You'll never be able to leave me." And I know that goes back to his issues in terms of, his being abandoned by his mother, and we can go down that whole tunnel. But that's a very dangerous situation to put yourself in, regardless of whether it's a man or a woman telling you that. So sometimes it's great to have, Stevie J is one of those guys who when he's courting you, he's doting all over you. You're the most wonderful person, but he's very clear on making it that you're on the top because of him, and without him, you're nothing. So I think it's very important to take that lesson away. And the other lesson is money doesn't fix hurt. A lot of times we think, you get the big car, you get the fancy clothes, you're on stage, people know you and people love you, but do you love yourself? Are you happy when you go home at night? One of the big things this season on the show for Jocelyn and Stevie was they got this huge mega mansion that had thousands and thousands of square footage. I want to say something like 20,000 square feet. And you know what happened? The same things that were happening when Jocelyn lived in her apartment and she couldn't trust Stevie, she couldn't depend on him, she was cheating on him, he was cheating on her, she was sad, he was sad, still happened in that big house. If you want to be happy, you have to focus on your issues. You can't focus on us acquiring things. And that's one of the major lessons we can learn from all reality TV shows. Your thoughts, boys?
Yeah, well, let's talk about the financial side of that. I think that a lot of people are duped by reality TV because everybody is pretty much trained to put on the facade, to put on the mask that they are balling, that they're on top of the world, that they've got all the money they could ever want. And if you're not financially sophisticated or financially literate, you can easily fall for that. You can say, "Oh my God, look at the house they have, look at the car they're driving, look at the clothes they're wearing. They are doing so well." And so, let's say that you get a chance to date somebody who's on one of these shows, or you meet somebody who presents those same material possessions as evidence that they're doing well. You can really be fooled because a lot of these people own this. They don't own any of that stuff.
Yes, everything is leased, or a lot of
Yes,
things are leased.
yes,
So the
least.
houses, the cars, even some of the clothes, they get stylists.
Yeah, and it's just a freaking mess. I mean, because if you look at the core, Stevie J, just with what we know publicly. I mean, when you owe $1 million in child support, that means that you can't afford to pay your child support. So
It also should mean that you shouldn't be able to afford to lease a 20,000 square foot house, a BMW, having all these fancy cars. One of the things that I'm always telling people is what someone will do for you, they'll do to you. So to me, it's unconscionable to be a participant in all of this excess when you know that I think he has like 7 kids
hmm
that he owes some kind of money for. You shouldn't even be willing to ball when you have kids that you owe $1 million to.
but I agree, and I think that even goes back to the conversation about what sort of values are we really pushing toward young people when we promote this kind of mindset that says my kids are starving and struggling and out with God knows who. Maybe someone might be being molested because their father's not around to protect them, and I'm balling with I'm trying. I'm 40 something years old, trying to live like I'm 22. Sitting there, possibly getting into all kinds of ridiculous stuff. The drug stuff isn't totally confirmed, so I'm not even going to dig into that. But just living this life,
But
this
being present in fatherhood, which is
right,
a
right.
daily 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. job. There's no breaks. So when you have 7 kids in multiple households, I don't understand how you have the time to do all of this other stuff.
That we make time for the things that we value, the things that are important.
Absolutely. So where are your values?
Right. There you go. There you go. I mean, so, I mean, are you really trying to say that this woman that you've known for less than a couple of years is more important than the children who are going to need you and depend on you for the rest of your life? So again, and this ain't really so much just about Stevie J. It's really about the idea of just, saying, okay, when you look at this lifestyle, about 90% of the lifestyle being promoted in reality TV is unhealthy. If you're smart, go in the other direction. Go in the other direction financially. Go in the other direction emotionally. Don't make relationship decisions the way many people in reality TV make their relationship choices. Because almost every single thing, if you think about this, and this is the last point I'll make on this, and I think this is key here. Almost every single thing that they do in their lives is built to create drama. It ends up creating drama. That's why they're on TV, because their lives are interesting, because there are all these explosions happening, because they're making these crazy, horrible life decisions. Some of them that are leading to this chaos. So if you want your life to have chaos, then do exactly what you're seeing on these shows. But if you want your life to be productive, peaceful, tranquil, happy, and all these other things, if you want to feel real love and want to give and receive real love, go in the opposite direction. Learn how to build healthy relationships. I think that's really important here.
I agree. So my question or my call out to all of the listeners and watchers is tell us the best lessons you've learned from reality TV on what not to do.
There you
Thank
go.
you for listening. Have a great day.
Bye bye.